At the far end of town, where the grickle grass grows, and the wind smells slow and sour when it blows, and no birds ever sing, excepting old crows, lies the street of the lifted Lorax. What was the Lorax, and why was it there? Why was it lifted and taken somewhere from the far end of town, where the grickle grass grows? The old Onceler still lives there. Ask him, he knows. On special dark midnights in August, he peeks out of the shutters, and sometimes he speaks, and tells how the Lorax was lifted away. He'll tell you, perhaps, if you're willing to pay. He croaks, "I will call you by whisper-my-phone, for the secrets I tell are for your ears alone." Down slops the whisper-my-phone to your ear, and the old Onceler's whispers are not very clear, since they have to come down through a snurgly hose, and he sounds as if he had smallish bees in his nose. "Now I'll tell you," he says, with his teeth sounding grey, "how the Lorax was lifted and taken away. It all started way back, such a long, long time back. Back in the days when the grass was still green, and the pond was still wet, and the clouds were still clean, and the song of the swanny swans rang out in space. One morning I came to this glorious place, and I first saw the trees, the truffula trees, the bright-coloured tufts of the truffula trees, mile after mile, in the fresh morning breeze. And under the trees I saw brown boboloots, frisking about in their boboloot suits, as they played in the shade and ate truffula fruits. From the ripulous pond came the comforting sound of the humming fish humming and splashing around. Oh, but those trees, those truffula trees, all my life I'd been searching for trees such as these. The touch of their tufts was much softer than silk, and they gave the sweet smell of fresh butterfly milk. I felt a great leaping of joy in my heart. I knew just what to do. I unloaded my cart, and in no time at all, I had built a small shop. Then I chopped down a truffula tree with one chop. And with great skillful skill, and with great speedy speed, I took a soft tuft, and I knitted a thneed. The instant I'd finished, I heard a gazump. I looked. I saw something pop out of the stump of the tree I'd chopped down. It was sort of a man. Describe him, that's hard. I don't know if I can. He was shortish, and oldish, and brownish, and mossy. And he spoke with a voice that was sharpish and bossy. "Mister!" he said, with a sawdusty sneeze, "I am the Lorax. I speak for the trees. I speak for the trees have no tongues, and I'm asking you, sir, at the top of my lungs." He was very upset as he shouted and puffed, "What's that thing that you've made from my truffula tuft?" "Look, Lorax," I said, "there's no cause for alarm. I chopped just one tree. I'm doing no harm. I'm being quite useful. This thing is a thneed. And a thneed is a fine something that all people need. It's a shirt, it's a sock, it's a glove, it's a hat, but it has other uses, yes, far beyond that. You can use it on curtains, on carpets, and sheets, and pillows, and covers for bicycle seats." "Sir," said the Lorax, "you're crazy with greed. There is no one on earth who will buy that fool of thneed." But the very next minute, I proved he was wrong. For just at that minute, a chap came along, and he thought that the thneed I had knitted was great. He happily bought it for $3.98. I laughed at the Lorax. "You poor stupid guy. You never can tell what some people will buy." "I'll repeat," said the Lorax. "I speak for the trees." "I'm busy," I told him. "Shut up, if you please." I rushed across the room, and in no time at all built a radiophone. I put in a quick call. I called all my brothers and cousins and aunts, and I said, "Listen up! Here's a wonderful chance for the whole Onceler family to get mighty rich! Get over here fast! Take the road to North Nitch! Turn left at Weehawken, sharp right at South Stitch!" And in no time at all, in the factory I'd built, the whole Onceler family was working full tilt. We were all making thneeds, just as busy as bees, to the sound of the chopping of truffula trees. And oh, baby, Oh, how the business did grow! Now chopping one tree at a time was too slow, so I quickly invented the Super Axe Hacker, which whacked off 4 truffula trees at one smacker. We were making needs 4 times as fast as before, and that Lorax, he didn't turn up anymore. But the next week, he knocked on my new office door. He snapped, "I'm the Lorax who speaks for the trees, which you seem to be chopping as fast as you please. But I'm also in charge of the brown barbaloots, who played in the shade in their barbaloot suits, and happily lived eating truffula fruits. Now, thanks to your chopping my trees to the ground, there's not enough truffula fruit to go round, and my poor barbaloots are all getting the crummies, because they have gas and no food in their tummies. They loved living here, but I can't let them stay. They've got to find food, and I hope that they may. So long, boys!" he cried, and he sent them away. I, the Onceler, felt sad as I watched them all go. But business is business, and business must grow, regardless of crummies and tummies, you know. I meant no harm. I most truly did not, but I had to grow bigger. So bigger I got. I biggered my factory, I biggered my roads, I biggered my wagons, I biggered the loads of the needs I shipped out. I was shipping them forth, to the south, to the east, to the west, to the north. I kept right on biggering, selling more needs. And I biggered my money, which everyone needs. Then again he came back. I was fixing some pipes when that old nuisance Lorax came back with more gripes. "I am the Lorax!" He coughed and he whiffed. He sneezed and he snargled, he snuggered, he sniffed. "Onceler!" he said with a crufulous croak. "Onceler, you're making such smogulous smoke! And my poor swarmy swans, why, they can't sing a note! No one can sing who has smog in his throat! And so," said the Lorax, "please pardon my cough. They cannot live here, so I'm sending them off. Where will they go? I don't hopefully know. They may have to fly for a month or a year to escape from the smog you smogged up around here. What's more," said the Lorax, his dander was up, "let me say a few words about gluppity-glup. Your machinery chugs on day and night without stop, making gluppity-glup, also sloppity-slop. And what do you do with the leftover goo? I'll show you dirty old Onceler man, you. You glump in the pond where my humming fish hummed. No more can they hum, for their gills are all gummed. So send them away. Oh, their future is dreary. They'll walk on their fins and get woefully weary in search of some water that isn't so smeary." And then I got mad. I got frightfully mad. I yelled at the Lorax, "Now listen here, Dad. All you do is yip yip and say bad, 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 bad. Well, I have my rights, sir. And I'm telling you, I intend to keep on doing just what I do. And for your information, you Lorax, I'm figuring on biggering and biggering and biggering and biggering, turning more truffula trees into needs, which everyone needs!" And just at that moment, we heard a loud whack. From outside in the fields came the sickening smack of an axe on a tree. Then we heard the tree fall. The very last truffula tree of them all. No more trees, no more needs, no more work to be done. So in no time, my uncles and aunts, everyone, they all waved me goodbye. They hopped into my cars and drove away under the smog-smuggered stars. And in no time, all that was left neath the bad-smelling sky was my big empty factory, the Lorax, and I. The Lorax said nothing. Just gave me a glance, just gave me a very sad, backward glance as he lifted himself by the seat of his pants. And I'll never forget the grim look on his face as he heisted himself right out of this place, through a hole in the smog, without leaving a trace. And all that the Lorax left here in that mess was a small pile of rocks, and the one word, unless. Whatever that meant, well, I just couldn't guess. That was long, long ago, but each day since that day, I've sat here and worried away. Through the years, as my buildings have fallen apart, I've worried about it with all of my heart. "But," says the Onceler, "but now that you're here, that word of the Lorax seems perfectly clear. Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not." So, catch! Cries the Onceler. He lets something fall. It's a truffula seed! The last one of all! You're in charge of the last of the truffula seeds, and truffula trees are what everyone needs. Plant a new truffula, treat it with care, give it clean water and feed it fresh air. Plant a forest, protect it from axes that hack. Then the Lorax and all of his friends may come back.